How's it going, guys? Series here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a farming strategy that I've been working on. I've been mainly focusing on Ritual, Delirium, and Heist, and of course we're taking Searing Exile altars because they are more consistent in the currency drops. In the Eater of World altars, you're really only looking for the Divine Orb altar, which is very rare in my opinion, so it's not worth the gamble. I will be focusing on Searing Exile for now. Now I've taken the Mesa map because the Mesa map has a chance to drop the divination card, the Fortunate, which is not very rare. It has a decent drop rate, and the Mesa map is really cool because you get to sprint and kill the boss, so you can avoid the boss altars. And also the tier 17 map being Fortress, that's allocated to Mesa, this one being one of the more expensive ones at a cost of 70c per tier 17 map on the time of recording. Now all the maps are 70% plus item quantity, some even having more, and I've instilled all of them with one Delirium orb for now. Let's talk a bit about the Atlas. As you can see, we've taken all the ritual clusters except for a few nodes like this one. I don't really care about blood vessels or this keystone right here. This is not good in my opinion. As for this one as well, we are taking all the heist nodes as well, but without those ones because I don't really care about those. We have the quant wheel here and all the increased effect of map modifiers, because this will scale up your quantity and rarity, but this will make the maps harder, so be careful about that. And of course we're taking singular focus because we want to drop more Mesa maps. Now this is basically it, just some altars, some ritual, some heist, and more map effect modifiers. And finally we're going to be using the Heist craft on the map device to get more smugglers caches for a chance to drop those blueprints and the deception contracts, which sell for a good chunk. Now as for the Scarabs, we're taking 2 of the ritual Scarab of selectiveness because we can roll the first 2 times for free, and of course it's offering us 1 additional roll. We're taking the ritual Scarabs of wisps because it will grant us more tribute, and finally the ritual Scarab of abundance for more favor. Now for the cost of a 20 map set, I spent 120c on selectiveness Scarab, 28c on wisp Scarab, 186c on the abundance Scarab. The delirium orbs cost us 118 chaos, and we'll be doing the map craft 20 times, so that's 120c, bringing the total cost to 616 chaos, or 4 divines approximately. So other than the tier 17s that we are expected to drop and the fortunate cards, what are we looking in terms of profit for this strat? Of course we want deception contracts and blueprints from the heist on the Atlas, and we're looking for some raw drops, maybe drop a divine or 2, who knows. The simulacrum splinters are also worth something, but when we talk ritual, we're talking jackpot. What we're looking for is raw divines from the ritual windows. In very rare cases, which might never happen to you, you might find a mirror. Divination cards also are present. You might find good synthesized bases, good fractures. You might even find good corpses. And of course we have the omens. The omen of connection being very expensive. I hope we can find one. Of course we also have the audience of the king that invites us to fight the ritual boss. Quantity on the map do not affect ritual at all. This is all luck. This is why we're taking so many chances to reroll our windows, because the more rolls we have, the better luck we have to find expensive items. So you might say that 20 maps is not a good enough sample size, but it's just a test for now. I want to see how sustainable it is. After all, this is PoE 1. In PoE 1, whatever content you run, eventually you make profit, especially if you know what you're doing and how you're allocating your Atlas tree. Of course, expensive stuff costs a lot, so you not want to buy them immediately. You want to defer them and reroll. However, I did some mistakes rerolling stuff that are not worth a lot. That made the ritual window have a lot of stuff that are deferred. Sometimes that cost me a divine or two. This is a mistake that I made. That's because usually I don't farm ritual. That's kind of the first time that I go deep into it. Normally I farm other stuff. I primarily focus on bossing because I used to do the Hex Plus build, but now that it's nerfed, I am doing something else. Here you see, for example, I found an amulet that has tier 2 fracture all attributes. This could sell for a nice chunk of change. And you also see some divines that I'm deferring and an omen or two. You see here the mistake that I made was buying the Audience of the King really early. I spent all my tribute before continuing to reroll my windows. So what happened was I didn't even continue because I would have gotten mad if I seen something and I couldn't buy it. This happened to me I think a map or two before where I had a divine and I couldn't even defer it, so I lost it. Now let me sort all the loot and upload my tab into Wealthy Exile, and we'll be back to calculate the profit. After sorting everything, as you can see, we are well in the green in terms of profit. As you can see, we have 4 raw divines, 2 of them being from ritual and 2 dropping from the map. So if you remember, the investment was a total of 4 divines. So this is our investment, and all this right here is totally profit. Now the most memorable things that dropped were an enlightened support. It's worth 2 divines, these 2 fractures which are very nice, this one being priced around let me check here, 8 divines or non-divines. This is very expensive. We have those nice corpses right here. This is 20c, this is 40c, this is also 20c, and this is 30c. We have dropped 3 fortress maps, each being priced at 60 chaos. We have quite some blueprints, 2 of them being fully revealed. These are worth quite some nice amount of chaos. We have some deception contracts. We've dropped 6 fortunate cards. This is like 1 divine. Now this is, I think, more than what you could find normally, because we duped 2 of them from the altars of the Searing Exarch. None of these Scarabs is particularly very expensive except for this one right here. That's worth 65c. And I think we've dropped a calcification right here. This one's also worth 30c. This one's very nice. We have dropped this Omen of Blanching, which also was worth 45c. And 1 Audience of the King worth 80c. Let's jump to Wealthy Exile so it can calculate the profit on our tab. However, it will not take into consideration the corpses and the 2 fractures right here. I will have to calculate that manually, and of course I will not include the contracts and the blueprints because I can sell those on TFT for a much better price. Here we are on Wealthy Exile. As you can see, this tab is worth 20 divines. Now the minus 2.3 divines is for the contracts and blueprints, which I removed because I will be selling this on TFT separately. We have 8.5 divines worth of currency, being the 4 divines that are worth half of them. We have 1.9 divines in omens, 1.1 divines in divination cards, the fortunate cards being most of this. 23 chaos, 5 chaos, 10 chaos, 6 chaos. This is nothing. We have 29 chaos in oils, 40 chaos in invitations, 1.5 divines in Scarabs, 1.7 divines in maps, of course dropping the 3 fortress maps, 2.5 divines in fragments in total. Of course, this being the Simulacrum Splinters worth 1.9 divines, and of course an Audience of the King worth a bit under a divine, and of course the Enlighten, which is worth 2 divines. Now, only from those we're taking 20 divines, so we're already at 16 divines of profit. Now I went ahead and made the calculations for the other stuff that we want to sell. If we're talking in terms of blueprints, we have 24 blueprints worth 15 chaos in bulk on TFT. This is 360 chaos. We have the 2 full ones worth 60 chaos apiece. That's 120 chaos. The contracts are worth 130 chaos. Now as for the corpses, we're looking at 115 chaos. And finally the fractures, this one being on the less expensive side, but it still costs around 40c, but this one is worth 8 divines in minimum. So we're talking in the brackets of 30 to 33 divines worth of profit, and I think this is very nice for just 4 divines of investment. Now of course, if you don't count these 2 lucky drops, we'll remove 10 divines from our profit, but we're still looking at 20 divines, which is 16 divines of profit, which is very nice. But this is Ritual, you will always find something good, but with RNG, the more you play, the more you earn. I hope you enjoyed this quick farming video. This is a very cheap farm to do. However, you do need a strong build if you want to include the delirium in your farm. But of course you can do the strategy without using delirium, but I just wanted to push it a little bit further for some more profit. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. I answer all the comments. Now I'll be uploading more farms and more strategies, so stay tuned, and as always, like if you like, subscribe if you want, and thank you for watching.